Hey, folks. It is Wednesday, February 26th, 25th, February 25th, 2026. You're listening to the Daily Ledger Show, and I am your host, Dennis Sert. Great to be here with you tonight. We got some good stories we're going to get into tonight. Tech firms aren't just encouraging their workers to use AI, they're enforcing it. Anthropic apparently has folded when it comes to sort of the pissing match with the Department of War and Pete Hegseth. So, how about that? And we're going to talk about TechCrunch essentially dancing on the grave of Doge, which I don't agree with, but we're going to have some commentary on that. And then we may end off with um, getting into some of my reactions on the comments I got on one of my clips on TikTok. It's kind of funny actually. So we'll see how that goes. But we're gonna end off with that. Before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Follow if you're on Instagram or TikTok. And yeah, we're just gonna be doing tech news, AI. I used to do these in the morning. I do them at night now. So I don't plan on stopping, so should be a lot of fun. Make sure to do all that good stuff. Share the show with your friends, all that fun stuff. Okay, let's get into it. Tech firms aren't just encouraging their workers to use AI; they're enforcing it. Wow. So here's the thing. I mean, a lot of what this article is about to get into is essentially what I've been saying. I've been saying that you will never be better than AI. AI is an amalgamation of, human history's best coders. Like, you won't ever code better than it. And even the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, case in point, are essentially, like in other articles as well, teaching boomers, even the boomers, about how to vibe code. So it's like, this is inevitable, right? Um, just like AI taking over everything, really. So let's get into a couple of the excerpts that I highlighted here. So I guess there's this, chief executive of some startup Conductor. It's a 300-person digital marketing startup. He says the only way to have a thriving company is if you have all of your staff having a high level of competency. So let me read this again. The only way to have a thriving company is if you have all of your staff having a high level of competency. Okay, so that's what he's talking about. He said we're using carrots and sticks to use AI. Because it's funny, because it's like, and I've been seeing this like just with boots on the ground, but like a lot of trad or like traditional software engineers, like, they don't have that sense of urgency. Like, they're not like, they're actually not even aware that, of the free for all that's actually happening right now just in the industry. They're just kind of in la la land. It's like, oh man, like, look at me, I'm able to write my little functions. It's like, okay, well, not for long. Not when you're jobless and you're on EBT and you're just on unemployment. You're like, oh my god, like, I thought me writing a function was enough, guys. It's like, no, not in 2026. You have to be competent with AI. And now apparently they're using AI as part of performance reviews. So he goes on more, the CEO of this startup. Employees get an AI competency score from 1 to 5, scoring a 5 if they can create systems that improve the workflow of others. So if they can't use AI in front of their manager, they're fired, right? Because you don't score poorly, you don't score well on your performance review, you really are out of there, right? Yeah, and so that's just the way it is now. And it's like the boomers, especially, even some of the Gen Xers and millennials, they're just so averse to new technology. It's like, oh, it's like, no, the Gen Zers, they say vibe coder, and then they put everyone who uses AI into that vibe coder bucket. They're like, hey man, yeah, I use Claude Code, to do a code review to help out on one of my PRs. And then they're like, "Oh, you're a vibe coder. Get away from me. Oh, you sicken me, you vibe coder." It's like, get the fuck away from me. You know what I mean? Like, I, I'm just trying to get my PRs out, bitch. Like, it ain't that deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I, I'm not like, what do you think this is? 2016? Like, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, guys, look, I just solved twosome on Leak Code." It's like, okay, you want like a gold star? You want like a fucking sticker? Like, please, please, like, please understand that we have crossed the Rubicon, people. Like, we've passed that era of leak code of twosome, bro. There's no more twosome. It's either you get with the Claude Code program or you collect your EBT. Okay? Some coding tools, including Cursor, were initially blocked and employees were using them stealthily. So this was, essentially people who think like me. It's like, and this was kind of before like Claude Code became extremely mainstream and is just being just every day. There's this new article on how boomers need to vibe code on, mainstream media now. It's like, but before that, like, believe it or not, there was a time before Claude Code and people were using Cursor, but it's like, oh, you're a bad boy. Again, same story. It's like, you're a bad boy. You're using Cursor. It's like, okay, I'm not using Cursor, but you are using Cursor quietly, right? So if you're smart, you're using everything that there is out there. And if you're a fucking dumbass, you're a Luddite. And you're like, oh, wow, just press enter. All right. Yeah. So it's like these people don't have a sense of urgency. They have no sense of when or how they will be fired, right? Because at the end of the day, you are sort of at the whim of your superior, right? That's just how the world works. Unless you're at the top, like I'm not even going to say unless you're the president of the United States. Yeah, because there's clearly an above, there's a deep state and whatnot, like, but it's like, unless you're the I don't know, the chairman of the World Economic Forum, unless you're like the CEO of BlackRock, right? Like, unless you're at the top of the top, then you're not the boss, okay? You're just a bitch. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of all of us. All of us are bitches. It's like, are you less of a bitch? Or are you more of a bitch, right? So it's like, anyway, so I mean, the point is, like, you have to do what you need to do to survive, or in this case, financially survive, financially stay afloat, right? So it's like, yeah, I am gonna use Cursor. Fucking deal with it or not. I'll just use Cursor and not tell you. It's like, yeah, all of my code came from here, bro. But in reality, I haven't touched my fucking keyboard to write a line of code since October 2022. I hate to break it to you. Everyone's like, oh man, you didn't write that paper all on your own. Well, I mean, why would I, bitch? And okay, like, whatever. Like, it's not just me who thinks like that, but like, theoretically, if I was to write a paper, that's what I would be doing. I'm not endorsing any clandestine operations there, but I'll leave it at that. Okay, let's talk about Anthropic, because as we know, they've been having a feud with the Department of War and Pete Hegseth. So the TLDR is that they folded. They are relaxing their safety commitments. Okay, so Anthropic dials back AI safety commitments. Company says competitive pressure prompts it to pivot away from a more cautious stance. The company said Tuesday it is softening its core safety policy to stay competitive with other AI labs. Yeah, no shit. Like, you thought that you could kind of be on top of that moral high horse. Like, I was talking about this the other day. Like, these people, they think that being on a moral high horse wins the debate. It will never win the debate. Like, you have lost. It's a Pyrrhic victory. A Pyrrhic victory is like you lose so much that you don't even really win, right? It's like, okay, oh, well, I lost, but at least I had the moral authority. It's like, okay, like, that's kind of what Claude was doing up until now. It's like, I mean, I'm almost glad. I am glad actually that Pete Hegseth stuck a stick up this guy's ass, Dario Amodai, and now he's like, yeah, well, we kind of had to get off the high horse. Actually, well, okay, well, thank you. I'm glad you got with the program. Now, see, now I won't feel ashamed for using Claude Code. I'll know that somebody was able to kind of whip this guy into shape. You know what's like extremely sad? Amodai chose not to release an early version of Claude in 2022, fearing that it would start a dangerous technology race. OpenAI released ChatGPT several weeks later, leading Anthropic to play catch-up. Amodai said he doesn't regret the decision. Now, it's so sad because now, after four years, can you believe it? 2022 to 2026. Fine, 3.5. I mean, only after 3.5, 4 years can Claude and Anthropic kind of be the hero that Gotham needs, but not the one that it deserves, right? Just like, the AI company that all these Wall Street Journal and New York Times and newspapers are like, oh my God, like they're our poster child, Anthropic. You're such a good boy, Dario. And then he's like, yeah, I got my gold star, right? And it's like OpenAI ate their lunch for, 4 years, right? It's like if only he had just like released Claude several weeks earlier, few weeks earlier to, Sam Altman, it would have been game over. OpenAI would have never gotten the foothold that it did. And let's face it, if we're going by daily active users, weekly active users, that's what OpenAI publishes. OpenAI still kind of has more daily active users than the Claude, Anthropic. They have, last I checked, 800 million. Between 800 million and 1.2 billion. I think it's it is 1.2. I had to recall that real quick. It's 1.2 billion weekly active users, right? So just an insane amount. I think like Gemini just like last week, hit like 700 million, right? XAI is like at 650 million. Dude, Anthropic doesn't even have that many daily active users. They're like 100 million-ish to that tune. But their thing is that they cater towards enterprise, right? And the US government falls into that as well, into that category, right, of enterprise, right? So that's how they're kind of the media's poster child right now, because they're for enterprise. Of course, out there in San Francisco, everyone's like, oh my God, Claude Code, Anthropic too. So, but yeah, I mean, my point stands though. It's like, where are the numbers, bro? You know what I'm saying? Now, yes, some say that Anthropic is on track to becoming more profitable before OpenAI. So it's worth, acknowledging that too. We'll have to see how it shakes out though. They haven't yet. Neither of them have neither OpenAI nor Anthropic. So anyways, so that's just some information on that. Here's another article just on that from Time, which broke the story exclusive. Anthropic drops flagship safety pledge. And this is from yesterday afternoon. Okay, let's move on to this story, which I'm incredibly disappointed, but I'm not surprised at TechCrunch dancing on the grave of Doge. Of course, TechCrunch being just this extremely liberal newspaper, right? Website. An accountant won a big jackpot on Kalshi by betting against Doge. And they overhype this article so much. Like they make it seem as if like he won like millions of dollars. He's like, oh, he won, or what is it? Okay, so I'll just explain what happened. So this guy, he's like a tax accountant, and he bet against federal spending going down. So he basically said like, well, federal spending couldn't be whacked that quickly, even if Doge nicked some federal contract contracts and laid off some workers. Some really deserve to be laid off. Like it is so bad, just on cruises and stuff, and then during billable hours. It's insane. Um, yeah, plenty of remaining obligations, and the skyrocketing federal debt would remain. And so, anyway, so I guess he puts in 342,000, and then he gets back 128,000. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not balking at 128K. I'm just saying, is making 128K like newsworthy? Like, give me a break. Like, and the only reason I pointed out in that way is because it's clear that TechCrunch is like bending over backwards to shit on Doge and to shit on Elon. It's like, okay, we like, I like, we get it, TechCrunch. Like, we understand you don't like Elon very much. You know, we understand that you don't like Doge for whatever reason. Like, you know, and it's just, it's really funny because it's like, so, I mean, you remember some of the stuff that Doge was uncovering, like, you know, teaching guinea pigs how to play video games, watching shrimp, teaching shrimp how to run on treadmills, funding gay porn magazines in like Peru. And it's just like, here's TechCrunch like, yes, we'll always have corruption. We'll always be spending millions upon millions of dollars teaching guinea pigs how to play video games, teaching shrimp how to run on treadmills, funding gay porn magazines in Peru. Yes, yes. And you just keep paying your taxes, little boy. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Like, give me a break. Yeah, but Elon's a bad boy. Like, I got this Tesla before Elon went crazy. That's what people were putting on their Teslas in San Francisco, like in 2024. When I was there, I was taking a lot. I was like, wow, really? Like, I thought, like, and here I thought, like, these people got gas guzzlers just to spite Elon. And it's like, dude, okay, well, were you ever liberal then? Like, I thought liberals were for green energy. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, is it green energy? Like, which one is better for your liberalism, right? Is it, you know, being against Elon or having an electric car? Because it seems like now they're kind of like against each other. You know what I mean? And then now it's like Wall Street Journal, New York Times are glazing like, Lucid, they're glazing like Rivian. You know, they're both kind of like struggling to stay afloat, especially Rivian, where they had to get like a bailout from the Biden administration, $1 billion or something. It's like in 2024. And it's like, same thing with like, what is it? BYD, China. They're like, oh my God, China just surpassed like $1 trillion in export surplus or something like that. It's like, okay, BYD just took over the electric market. Okay. Meanwhile, Tesla is like, they're not even doing electric cars anymore. They killed the Model S, killed the Model X. They're like, yeah, we kind of need the factory space for like our Optimus robot. Sorry, guys. I mean, completely unapologetic about it. They're like, yeah, you know, you BYD, okay, you can carry on with your electric cars. We're gonna worry about the fucking Cybercab, which is coming on. The first factory is coming online in Texas in June. We're gonna worry about XAI, as well as SpaceX merging and, you know, putting Grok into satellites, moon base, you know, Mars missions and stuff. It's like, but no, Elon's a bad boy. Everybody, don't you forget. So, anyways, on that note, why don't we do something we've never done before we end off the show here? I got a lot of just, well, I get a lot of interesting comments, and I actually love it. The dirty secret is that I love it, like truly. But yeah, I got a lot of fun comments that I actually want to like get into here. So I'm just gonna see if I can pull up my TikTok here, just like so. Okay, here we go. Uh, so just for context, this is the other night's show. This is a clip from the other night's show about basically the context is that I have in the background basically the lawsuit that Tesla just opened against the California DMV and talking about how nobody got confused. No customers got confused about the autopilot's name and full self-driving's name. And the California DMV's entire testimony relied on a single law professor. Okay. And so I use that as inspiration. It was a great clip, by the way. I use that as inspiration, and I kind of went off and just shit on the education system in general, especially. So it's a very valid point. A lot of these um, professors are extremely entitled because of their position. They're just like, a lot of, great. It's not all professors, okay? But it's like a lot of professors really do use their positions of power, and they wield it like kind of against the students' interests. And that was kind of the point I was making. Um, Anyways, so let's get into it a little bit. Make podcast equipment harder to get. See harder. Um, okay, here's one that was kind of like addressing the point a little bit. I don't think it's about moral authority. It's about knowledge. Knowledge. Here in my garage, if you've gotten degrees, you've proven that you have both studied and practiced your subject area, depending on how high the degree, uh, the more you have studied and practiced. It's hard to replicate that kind of regime and study outside a course. Not impossible though. This is actually a good comment. I have to, there is a valid point in that. I concede that it is actually quite convenient to take a course, but there's something inherently passive about it, right? It's like you kind of have to just attend, like you have to kind of put yourself in the whim of the professor, and your GPA might potentially be screwed up just out of nowhere. See, my problem is actually that um, some colleges make you, like, in order to get the degree. Like I got a degree in computer science too, actually, but you need to follow a strict regime of classes to take. Like you're kind of forced to take certain classes, right? So for instance, at my college, you were forced to take 8 humanities classes. Now I was able to weasel my way out of 5 of them. I had to take 3 at the college. I took 5 out of the 8, which is something nobody does, by the way. Everybody just kind of bends the knee, bows down, and takes the gender studies class. But I actually ended up taking those over the summer online, asynchronously, at like some other college on the other, some no-name college on the other side of the country. So, it was actually the best decision that I've made. I still kind of like pat myself on the back to this day about that. But it's like, yeah, just real quick. While emailing some of the professors that I needed to sign off on getting the credit onto my transcript, it was like they would sign off. These gender studies professors would like sign off as like professor last name, right? Their last name. And it's like, okay, I get it that you're the professor, right? I've already addressed you as professor. Like, just sign off with your first name like a normal fucking human being. Like the rest of it's funny because like all of the hardcore class teachers, like computer science, design and analysis of algorithms, whatnot, right? Integrals, just like calculus, whatever. Differential equations, linear algebra. They'll say just like, sincerely, Bob, Jerry, right? Steve. No. It's the soft core classes. It's like, again, it's the art glass blowing class, like that sort of thing. It'll be like, okay, they'll talk tough. They'll be like, oh, my class is much too advanced for this other class that you're taking at that other no-name college over the summer. And then they'll sign off best professor last name. It's like, oh my God. Like, okay, you're cool. All right. Is that what you wanted to hear? I'm crying. What is this? Cry harder. Yeah, I don't know. The way I've seen my students think and write, they'll get there. But well, see, it's not for everybody. Like this show is really for if you want to win, right? I'd like to believe that the audience is full of winners. Okay, apparently on TikTok it's just full of just loving liberals. Just we'll see in a second. Who's gonna tell them that this ain't tough? And it's a meme of Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob, from SpongeBob and Squidward. and they're against a pane of glass, apparently, watching some character in the background hold up a barrel. Okay, that's cool. This one's kind of funny because he kind of like failed his own attempt. Do you work for Apple? Because you made me want to destroy my AirPods to stop consuming this. Like, how does working for Apple, how does me potentially work it, like, obviously, like, he's trying to own me here, but it's like, how does me working for Apple connect to him destroying his AirPods? Like, I guess the connection is supposed to be like, I guess I could send him a new pair if I worked at Apple, but like anybody can gift you AirPods, right? Like, so it's like, why would I need to work at Apple to do that? They don't even give you free AirPods if you work at Apple. Like working at Apple has zero relevance to him destroying his AirPods. Like, well, I don't get it. Fucking idiot. All right. Anti-education people are so silly. I'm not even anti-education. I'm just saying, get your education yourself. Just grab life by the balls. You know what I mean? It's like, have that fire in you. You know what I mean? Just like, go get that money, bitch. Like, the reason why I stand behind this point of just like essentially just can be perceived as a little bit anti-education is because, like I said, one, these professors act entitled and they're egotistical and they wield their power against students. But two, I have personally shook my hand with people who have graduated high school, gone into startups, and at 17, 18 years old, they have millions of dollars. They have several $1 million valued company. They have, let's say, a $50 million startup, right? So it's like you can just immediately get into the startup land and start doing something, right? Like, I don't care about gender studies, bro. Like, fuck you. You know what I mean? And then he goes, anti-education people are so silly. Okay, you can bend the knee, you can bow down. Okay, nobody's stopping you. Go ahead, bow down and take that glass blowing class. Be my guest. That one bro that swears they didn't need to go to college. I'm telling you, man, I shook that guy's hand at that party. He's like, yeah, I got done with high school. I don't know. I just applied to Y Combinator. And then suddenly I had a $50 million startup, startup valuation for my startup. I mean, dude, I'm 100K in the hole. Like, I'm in debt right now. I'm trying to pay it off. It's like, I wouldn't mind. See, if I was to do that, that's why I started the startup or the podcast. It's like, I kind of almost want to like leave a digital footprint behind where it's like, okay, like, this is what I've learned so far. And that is to say, at 17 years old, I might not have done college. I might have just gone straight into Y Combinator. I mean, that's kind of how to win. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a nobody. It sounds like he's trying to rub two brain cells together to form a coherent sentence. Yeah, I mean, I moved my podcast from the morning where I used to be extremely caffeinated. That's the best time to do rants. Like, just like right after breakfast. I've already had a debate at breakfast. I'm already like 3 cups of coffee in. I'm extremely caffeinated. I'm ready to rant, right? Well, now that I got this job, it's like I actually have to like muster the energy to rant like kind of before I go to bed. It's me rubbing two brain cells together. Yeah, there you go. You're an idiot. Okay, like, can we come up with something more creative? Like, what am I gonna say to that? Like, what? Like, at least it sounds like he's trying to rub two brain cells together to form a coherent sentence. Is a bit more creative, and I can like say something, for that. You're an idiot. Okay, brother. It's funny. It's ironic. He's trying to shit on me for being quote unquote anti-education, which isn't really my stance, but okay, let's just take that for the sake of argument. He's trying to shit on me for being quote unquote anti-education. He got his contraction wrong. You're not like, okay, it's your with no contraction and no e at the end. It's you, Y-O-U-R, not Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. So let me just read it how it's said. And then, yeah, brother, your whole argument is how much of this fake resource have you collected? Go ahead and use that AI to learn some more. And then it's Jonah Hill doing this motion. Okay. I mean, can you learn English? Like, I mean, what is this? Okay, and that's kind of my point. Like when he says go ahead and use that AI to learn some more. Like it's funny because his like attempt at owning me, his own, is kind of making my point. Like he's trying to shit on me by saying like, oh, go ahead and use that AI to learn some more. As like he's the logic here is that I have more to learn and he's saying use AI to fill that gap. But that's my point. So okay, so I guess you're with me there. Great, thank you very much. This is truly one of the most horrific lighting I've ever seen in a video. What were you thinking? Are you staring into headlights or something? Have you never used a camera? I'm blown away. Okay, he may actually have a point. I kind of was, or she actually, may actually have a point. Uh, the light I'm using, it's like a gym light that I got a while back, kind of right before I started I keep saying startup, the podcast. And I mean, look, like I like fair criticism. I changed it to have a different setting. There are different settings on there. There's like a red light, a yellow. I have the yellow light right now. We're trying it out. Maybe the white light was too much. I actually agree with that. It kind of was making my face look like kind of overexposed. But there you go. Ultra Starbeam. Delulu. All models, even in 2026, are still heavily prone to hallucination. See, I was explaining this to somebody else the other day. It's like, no, it fucking isn't. Okay? I'll tell you why. AI companies have been working on something called RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. Basically, it's a way to fetch relevant information from a database or a source of knowledge, a pool of knowledge that's relevant to the prompt. So again, it's a way for AI to get relevant information, aka to not hallucinate. They've been working on this they've been working on this for like several years. I kind of hesitated there because like it's not really working on RAG. It's like once you implement it, you can implement it in a day. But it's like it's become mainstream. That's what they've been kind of indexing into for the past several years, right? Like that is what's under the hood with all of these modern AIs, Grok, ChatGPT, Claude, etc., right? And so there's that. There are other ways. There's startups that are specifically combating hallucinations, right? So there's that. They do other methods. My MN thesis was on combating hallucinations, so that's why I know. That's not even necessarily why I know so much. I just happen to know a lot of that through stuff in San Francisco, and then later on, I wrote that paper, but that's a side point. And then it's like, yeah, I wanted to end on an analogy, which is with Apple Maps. Apple Maps in 2011 sucked, okay? And everybody hated it. Apple hated it. It was just a total train wreck, total disaster. They absolutely just shit the bed. Apple did. And then what happened? They fixed it, okay? Apple Maps is quite good now, but the problem is you only get one first impression. And everyone still thinks that Apple Maps sucks. But the reality is it doesn't suck anymore. But people aren't going to go back and change their minds about it. It's kind of the same thing with hallucinations. It's like hallucinations have gotten so much better. It's like 99.9% it will always be correct on the first try. And it's just in practice. And then these people, just to try and justify, quote unquote, humanity, justify like their existence, at least let's call it their job existence, right? And it's like they're clinging on to their job essentially, and in order to do that, they're bending over backwards and be like, oh, there's still a hallucination problem. No, there isn't. They took care of it, people. They took care of it. Like what you think like OpenAI, Anthropic have just been like sitting on their hands this whole time? That's all they've been being that's all that they've been given by their users, right? It's like when you get 1.2 billion daily or weekly active users telling you, hey man, there's a hallucination problem in 2022, 2023. It's like, okay, like you know, you might want to put some software engineers on that shit. Well, what do you think they did? So, anyways, it wasn't connected to the internet before, and then it became connected to like web crawling and stuff kind of after Grok did it first, right? At first, when ChatGPT came out, it had this like knowledge base thing, it had this like knowledge cutoff thing. Everyone was complaining it was too early. It was cut off at 2020, like one or whatever. And then later, when Elon Musk came into the arena with XAI after acquiring then Twitter, right? Grok came out, Grok integrated with X, and then it was pretty good at searching X as well as searching the web. And this was a couple years back. And then ChatGPT and then Claude got onto that program, and now everybody's doing that, right? So that is searching the web, right? So there's a lot of searches and cross references involved now. It's not just, oh, my knowledge cutoff was in 2021, so now I'm going to make this thing up, right? It's fundamentally changed, right? So again, just going back to the Delulu, see, it's so loving, it's so liberal. All models, even in 2026, are still heavily prone to hallucination. Oh yes. Yes, let me just like, people, yeah, that's why there's no money being made in San Francisco from AI. No, there are no angel investors and startup accelerators throwing money at AI companies. There's no money. Anthropic and OpenAI aren't going public. XAI isn't merging with SpaceX. Elon Musk isn't doing any work on AI. Sam Altman, Dario Amodei, none of them are doing work on AI. It's just like, no, there's no AI actually. So I guess we'll end on that. Okay, guys. Kind of a fun show today. I like that quite a bit. We'll check out how the clips do. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.